Hello vinyl community, this is Josh from New York. This is my first video. It's a video response to Suprawes' Let's Talk About Sexy thread, and I think there are some interesting questions, and I've been meaning to get involved with the vinyl community, so I think this is a good start. Let's just get right to it, shall we? Are there any famous groups or artists that started out in your hometown? The short answer is no. I'm from a small town in northern New York, close to the Canadian border, and we're not really known for music here. But the guitar player from Husker Du did go to high school here and spent a lot of his early life here. I went to the same high school that he did, and my Spanish teacher in high school was best friends with him when they were in high school together. And she told me some stories about him, about how he was in high school, and she showed me their old yearbook, and that was the most interesting, because there he was in his senior picture, and the funny one was where he was dressed up as Gene Simmons in a band at some kind of spring festival, and they looked like they were having a good time, and it was funny to see a real hero of mine dressed up like that, and a little more personal than, album art, and it's funny. But otherwise, no, there's nobody from here. My favorite album producer right now, this is question number 2. Who's your favorite album producer? There are so many, but one has to be Tony Dugan, famous for his work with Belle and Sebastian. I like how he can bring the lush and airy sounds to the realities of life when they're discussing things like drug use or whatever it could be in these songs, and they're pleasant sounds, and they also don't get dated. This album came out in the mid-90s, and it sounds like it could have been made yesterday. Tony Dugan has been known, I find, is known to make timeless music, and that's great. I think he's also worked with Mogwai. But I think Belle and Sebastian are also responsible for having such a great sound and talking about heavy things with a light emphasis. I think they're great. They're one of my favorite bands. Next question is, what cartridge do I use? Well, I use pretty basic equipment. I haven't replaced my cartridge. I have replaced the stylus and the needle often enough. But I haven't really gotten into the audiophile things right now. I spend most of my money on records, and I don't have much left over. But my setup sounds good. I use an Onkyo receiver. I have the Newmark USB turntable on top, and my main one is just a strange vintage turntable from the 80s. I think they sold at Sears or something. It's pretty basic, but I like it. And it does the job for now. I'll get into the audiophile stuff later. But kind of dodging the question there. Well, tell us some song or album titles that I really like. That I can do. Let's see. Here's the Smiths. Last night I dreamt that somebody loved me. Who doesn't want that? I mean, it's great. And the Smiths are known for a lot of great song titles. But Billy Bragg, great album title, with Talking with the Taxman about poetry. That's nice. And also Honey, I'm a Big Boy Now is one of the songs on here. And more clever song titles. And here's the Rolling Stones in concert, Get Your Yayas Out. I've always liked that one too. I spent a long time looking for this record too, oddly enough. There are more strange album titles and song titles that I like, but I'll try to keep it brief here. And here's where we get into the heavy stuff. We're going to talk about Sexy. First one that I'll show you is this, another Smiths record. And for those of you who know the Smiths, you'll know that this person is a trans woman, one of Andy Warhol's posse. But I think the color on this is really sexy, and the lady's looking pretty good too. I guess it's sexy for the aesthetic of it, as opposed to, you know, beautiful woman. And I think that's what I'm going to be showing throughout all of these, is that they're sexy for being visually pleasing as opposed to sex appeal itself, because I don't really know of any great albums that have, well, right off the top of my head, that have like hot girls on the cover. You know, that seems like more of an 80s hair metal thing, and that's not really my style. Well, Roxy Music, For Your Pleasure, and a lot of Roxy Music covers have good looking ladies on there, but, you know, my next one is Elliott Smith, an introduction to Elliott Smith. It's a new compilation on Kill Rock Stars, and I think the color on this is also really good, and Elliott Smith is looking fine as well, looking very nice, so I like that one as well. And my last one is a CD, actually, but this is Belle and Sebastian's, one of their early EPs called 369 Seconds of Light, and I think the people on there are really good looking, and they look like they're having a good time, and they might just get involved later too, so it's really good. So let me know what you think. If you have any recommendations, let me know. This is a community after all, and I'm hoping that I will have secured my place in it. So thanks to Suprawes, and thanks for watching. Cheers.